Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I don't get this question as often as I used to, as much as I used to, but I still get this question from time to time. And if you're known as a gun guy, if you're known as somebody who's enthusiastic about firearms or knowledgeable about firearms, or presumably knowledgeable, you will have people from time to time asking you, hey, what kind of gun should I get? What kind of gun do you recommend, or what kind of ammo, or whatever, where do you recommend shooting? A lot of questions like that. But one of the big ones is, probably the most frequent, I want to buy a firearm for defense. I want to carry a gun. I want to get a concealed carry license or whatever. What should my first gun be, or what should I carry, or what should my first carry gun be? And my answer is always the same: double action revolver. Final answer. And a lot of people say, well, you know, revolvers are old-fashioned. They can be more expensive than semi-autos. They don't have a lot of capacity. You know, there are some drawbacks to revolvers, obviously. And a lot of people, you know, when they say, hey, what kind of gun should I get? I say, double action revolver. Final answer. And they say, well, I really want more capacity. Okay, you know, Glock makes it great. You could get a Model 19 Glock, or you could get a Springfield Echelon, you could get a SIG P365. You know, there are a bunch of great options. They're terrific options. And they say, oh, which of those would you recommend? Double action revolver. Final answer. They're like, oh no, I need more ammo. Okay, well, you know, Glock 19 is a great choice. Okay, well, maybe they've had some experience with semi-autos, or they're like, well, what if I forget to chamber a cartridge, or I forget to clear it? Or they get to the range and they try it and they're like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting to chamber a cartridge, or I keep forgetting to clear the chamber at the end. Double action revolver. Final answer. You don't have to worry about that with a double action revolver. There are a lot of people who don't want a double action revolver. They don't want to hear that. Or sometimes they want like a J-frame. They want a little compact one. That can be a good choice. It's not my first choice. I would recommend, if you're going to go with a small frame like a J-frame, at least a 3-inch barrel. And some of these are less common. You know, you might have to look around for one or special order one, because so many people who want a compact revolver want like a 2-inch barrel. But going with a slightly longer barrel really does not make the gun that much harder to carry or conceal. But it adds just enough extra weight that recoil can be more manageable. It adds just enough extra length that you get useful sight radius, and it's easier to shoot well. A little more weight out front helps hold the gun steady. These are already guns that are hard to shoot well, so it just makes them easier to shoot well. That extra barrel length gives you a little more velocity. Frequently, like in 38 Special, your ability to get expansion is kind of marginal, like it's kind of iffy already. If you can add 50 or 100 feet per second by getting an extra inch of barrel length, that gives you a huge advantage in getting expansion. So, you know, terminal performance is much better. But yeah, so getting something with like a 3 or a 4-inch barrel is good. A K-frame, you probably don't want to move up to something like well, it depends. If we're talking about a gun just to keep around the house that you're maybe not going to carry that much, or maybe you're able to carry a big gun if you're a woman who's going to carry in her purse. A woman in her purse can frequently hide a very big pistol. Now, I'm not recommending purse carry, but if that's what you've decided to do, understand that size and weight are no longer big factors. You can carry a big pistol in a purse if you're like most women. So something like a K-frame with a 3 or 4-inch barrel, even an L-frame or an N-frame is not out of the question, but that is getting kind of silly. Probably something like a K-frame. In terms of a Ruger, I would recommend an LCR. This is an LCR. This one's a 22 long rifle. I'd recommend 38 Special, really 357 mag. But they make an almost identical revolver that would be 357 mag. A K-frame and 38 Special with 357 mag would work well. A Ruger GP100 would work well. Now, that's a big, heavy gun. If this one is kicking too much and it's unpleasant to shoot, you might find that moving to that bigger, heavier gun, if you can carry the weight, is really helpful, because that really tames recoil. And SP101, which is Ruger's small frame revolver, 5-shot and 38 Special with 357 mag. You can get that with a 3-inch barrel, and it's heavy and it's made of steel, but it's compact. That might kind of hit a sweet spot for you. Small enough to carry, heavy enough that it's pleasant to shoot. I would recommend one ideally in 357 mag. 38 Special can be good too. Why 357 mag? In 357 Magnum, you can shoot 38 short Colt or 38 long Colt. Now, that ammo is not common, but it is out there, and you do have that option, even though you're probably never going to use it. You could maybe even shoot 38 Smith & Wesson. I don't recommend that. But the big thing you can do is you can shoot 38 Special wad cutters. You can shoot these light loads in 38 Special, be very pleasant to shoot, and they can still be effective enough for defense. Or you can move up to standard pressure, full pressure 38 Special ammo. Or you can move up to plus P, which is probably your best bet for defense. or you can move all the way up to like some plus P plus or a full power 357 Magnum load. And they even make, they even make different loads in 357 Magnum that are, some are a little more potent than others. And maybe you'll get something at the lower end of that range or that spectrum that helps you control recoil a little better. But you've got a wide range of different kind of power levels depending on what you want and what your needs are, what your application is. So that's really great. And even if you only want to shoot 38 special ammo, a 357 Magnum is usually just, those versions of the guns are usually just a little bit heavier. They might be an ounce or two heavier than the 38 special version, and that helps soak up recoil. It's not always the case, but it's frequently the case. So yeah, that gives you a great deal of versatility. And yeah, you might have to spend a little more on a revolver. Maybe instead of buying a $300 or a $400 or $500 semi-auto, you're going to spend $600 or $700 or $800 on a revolver. But if it's a gun that suits you better and suits your needs better, that's better. I would tend to recommend a Ruger. I like Rugers a lot, but Colt makes good ones. Kimber, I understand, makes pretty good ones. Smith has definitely made great ones, but Smith's quality control over the years has been kind of spotty. So if you've got one of the good ones, hey, it's going to be a good one. It's going to probably last you a lifetime. But if you get one of that's not so great, well, you'll probably figure it out pretty quickly when you get it to the range. And then you probably either want to send that back to Smith for repair, or maybe just dump it, just get rid of it and try a different one, roll the dice again. I don't remember ever seeing a bad Smith & Wesson revolver or handling one. I know they exist. I heard lots of people complain about, say, oh, I got this Smith and I had this problem. I've been lucky that hasn't happened to me. And most Smith, 99% of them are great. So if you get a Smith, you're probably getting a really good one. But I tend to recommend Ruger because Ruger, to me, and in my experience, has better quality control and they have better customer service. If they've let a bad revolver out of the factory, they're going to fix it quickly for you and it's going to be done correctly. So I tend to recommend Ruger. But Smith is a great choice too, and there are others. There are Charters that are good ones. I don't recommend a Taurus. I don't recommend Taurus or the newer Rossi because they're owned by Taurus. Some people like Taurus. If you like Taurus, that's fine with me. We can still be friends, but I would never recommend that anybody buy a Taurus. And there are a few other brands. The Henry Big Boys supposedly are good revolvers. I haven't tried one, but pick one. I like Ruger, but you just pick one. There are lots of good ones out there. When it comes to versatility, you've got a lot of versatility in ammo. Ammo is usually not terribly expensive. In 38 Special, you can get ammo, and yeah, it's going to be more expensive than 9 Luger, but it's not terribly expensive stuff. And you can get really potent defense loads in 357 Magnum, and some of those are a little pricey, but you're not going to shoot a lot of them probably. So lots of options for ammo. Ammo's not terribly expensive. If we talk about something like, 10 millimeter auto, let's pick that one. Well, that can be a good choice, but ammo is a little bit more expensive. I guess it's comparable right now to 38 Special. It's not crazy. If we were to talk about 5.7 by 28 millimeter, that ammo is a little pricey. It's a little more expensive than 10 millimeter or 9 millimeter. It's a lot more expensive than 9 millimeter Luger. There are just some of these cartridges that cost more to shoot, and 38 Special is pretty reasonable. And so that's another reason that I recommend it. One of the big reasons to go with a revolver is it's very simple and intuitive to use. With a double action revolver, you never have to touch the hammer if you don't want to. This is a rim fire. It's supposed to be safe to dry fire, but I'm not going to. You just press the trigger and you just keep pressing the trigger until the gun is empty. And frankly, most of these guns either hold 5 or 6 rounds, and that's probably enough to get you through a gunfight. It's unlikely that you would need more. Now, you might need more. You might be one of those statistically rare cases where the 7th round would have saved you and you died because you had a revolver in your hands. But boy, that's unlikely. That's extremely unlikely. If you think you might fall into that category, then I guess you need to learn how to either get a 7-shot revolver or learn how to operate that semi-auto and do it safely and deal with that steeper learning curve. And you can do it, it's fine. If generations of 18-year-old recruits in the Army have been trained to handle a semi-auto competently, then you can do it too, it's fine. I mean, some of them are Marines. They're not bright people. I'm just saying, if Marines can do it, my God, anybody can do it. We train our dog to do it. So yeah, you can learn to do that, but if you don't want to deal with that learning curve, man, this revolver, this is like a cheat code, man. You can carry this very easily. This particular one's quite light, which is one reason I recommend the LCR. But it's, of course, there is a balance to be struck between what's light enough to carry easily and heavy enough that you can shoot it in comfort. Again, it just depends on what your needs are. You might get one of these, say in 38 Special 357 mag, and only shoot wad cutters through it. Very light recoiling. And no, it's not the best defensive ammo, but it's good enough. If you can place those bullets, I think you'll find that you'll resolve the gunfight favorably pretty quickly. But yeah, very simple to use. You can just point and press the trigger. You never have to touch the hammer at all. You can even have the hammer bobbed if you wanted to, so that it's not going to snag on anything. You won't be tempted to thumb back the hammer. We have adjustable sights, so you can adjust this to whatever ammo you like. There's just a lot to be said for this. And one of the best things about the revolver is it's very intuitive to load and unload. We press the latch, we swing out the cylinder, and we can see every chamber. So you don't have to remember, did I clear the chamber, did I chamber around? If all the chambers are loaded, which you can see easily, when you close this up, the gun's ready to fire. It doesn't matter which one's at the top. You just start shooting. And when you swing this out and you hit the ejector rod, if all the chambers are empty, the gun now can't fire. We can close this up, we keep it pointed in a safe direction, but we know the gun is safe. It's so intuitive and easy to use for newbies, for people who just don't know that much about firearms and maybe don't want to spend a lot of time on the range. Almost anybody can master this quickly. I can look in it, I can see daylight or not. I can look in every chamber and see if this thing is loaded. And if it's loaded, and when I close it up, I know it's ready to fire. And if it's not loaded, it's not ready to fire. And there's none of this, oh, there's a chamber and it's opaque and I can't see in there, did I clear it or not, did I charge? Oh, here, let me eject that one from the chamber and now take out the magazine. Oh, I didn't realize that I just loaded another cartridge. You don't make those mistakes with a revolver. And that doesn't mean this is completely idiot-proof and safe, but this is really doing it on easy mode. And there's a reason that people carried revolvers for a long time. They work. They still work in the 21st century. So if somebody's asking me, what kind of gun should I get? Double action revolver, final answer. Preferably 38 Special 357 mag. If you really can't afford to shoot much ammo, okay, 22 long rifle, maybe. It's not my first choice, but it's better than nothing. And if you can't afford a lot of ammo, well, with a 22 long rifle, you can go do a lot of shooting at the range for very little money. Or if you just can't handle recoil, you can't even handle those wad cutters, which I would find almost impossible to believe. But let's say you're one of those people. Okay, we can get you even less recoil. You can go 22 long rifle. So this is a possibility. But for all of these reasons, when somebody says, hey, what kind of gun should I, what kind of pistol should I buy to carry? Double action revolver, final answer. And preferably a Ruger, but a Smith could be a good one. And there are a bunch of other good, Colt or Kimber. There are a bunch of potential good ones. Charter could be a good one. I give this one-size-fits-all answer, and some of you might be saying, well, you know, we don't all have the same circumstances. We don't all have the same skills or needs. So one size doesn't really fit all. And you're right, you're correct. So why would I give a one-size-fits-all answer to everybody who asks the question? Because if you're asking the question, it means you know so little and you have so little skill and experience that you don't really have an opinion or much of an opinion about what you should carry, and you're asking for mine. If you are that new, then to my mind, the best thing for you is double action revolver. Now, once you've owned this for 6 months or a year, depending on how often you go to the range and how much time you spend with it, you may be ready to graduate to something else pretty quickly. Or maybe after 5 or 10 years, you're ready to graduate, whatever. Or maybe you're never ready to graduate. This is the kind of gun that could serve you for the rest of your life. It could be everything you need. Or after 6 months and you get a bunch of experience, it could be the gun that gives you a stepping stone up to, hey, now I do want to try a Glock 19 or a 1911 or whatever it is that you like, that you decide you like. CZ75, Beretta 92, whatever it is, I don't care. But if you are so new to shooting and you are so uninformed, whatever, that you're asking me the question, then my answer will always be double action revolver, final answer. Because this is a gun that essentially suits everyone. There are very few people who couldn't use this very successfully to defend their lives. And so why go looking to make things more complicated than they have to be? Well, guys, those are my thoughts. Those have been my thoughts for over 20 years on what people should carry. I've been giving people the same answer when they ask me. Double action revolver, preferably 357 mag, but 38 special works as well. And of course there are other chamberings like 22 mag, 22 long rifle that are not out of the question, but basically 357 mag is typically the best choice. And it's worth, to my mind, spending a little extra money, maybe putting up with extra weight, whatever, to have simplicity. Simple to use, very simple and intuitive. I can know if this is loaded or unloaded all the time. Just super easy to use. And we can even reload it with speed loaders if we're worried about getting more ammo in the gun quickly. So guys, those are my thoughts. Until next time, keep your powder dry.